Hello everyone, this is the third video tutorial for the Photoshop Advanced assignment named Street Art, and in this video tutorial I'm gonna try and teach you how to create a badge. So you hit File, New, name it Badge, width, height 1200, that's fine, resolution 150, hit OK. You remove the lock, name this layer Background. We're gonna fill it with a black, like that, but decrease the opacity to around 30. We're gonna choose and create a new layer. This layer we call, circle, which is gonna be the shape of our badge. You hit the marquee tool, elliptical, and you hold shift down while dragging. So we have a nice big circle like that. Foreground color to white, hit the bucket tool, and hit the center of it like that. There we go. You make sure you've selected the layer circle, Control J, and we name this Effect 1. Double click it, check Bevel and Emboss, and enter the style setting. And you can see now our circle actually have added like a black edge to it, depending on where we have set our global light from. But right now it's fine where it is. We are going to increase the size and the softness of this one. So instead of 5 pixels, we'll probably put it to 20 and the soften to 15, actually 25. That looks okay. Hit OK. Duplicate Effect 1. So duplicate layer. We're gonna call this Effect 2, like that, and double click it. Unmark Bevel and Emboss, but check Inner Glow. Enter it as well. Blend mode, you set that to normal instead of screen. Choose color, black. So now we've added this black edge all around our circle. We are going to increase the size of that. So we go down here to size, hit 15, choke 25, hit OK. The layer setting for Effect 2, instead of normal up here, we choose multiply, so it adds the layers underneath it. So if there was some sort of a light on this document, it will come from the top left, as it will start being very small dark here in the top left, and then will start increasing in the bottom right. So it has this 3D effect to it. Next thing is we're gonna create a color to our circle. So we go to our circle layer, Control J, and we're going to the top, name this not circle but color, and we just choose a color that we would like. So any color would work. So we'll choose this nasty green, hit the circle like that. The layer setting, we add multiply to it like that. So now we actually have the beginning of our badge. We have a 3D effect to it. We have a nice color. We don't really have text, icon, and what's more important, light. So this is the next thing that we're going to work with, the light. We go to our circle layer again, Control J, move it in top. We're going to call this light 1. We're going to go to a selection, a marquee tool, choose the elliptical one. We're going to create a slightly bigger circle than what we have on the document. So just a tiny bit more, not too much, something like this. That looks fine. And we're going to move it a bit away from it, so we have this half moon that we are creating in the bottom, just like that. Hit delete, move the selection tool away. I'm going to focus a bit on this white half moon and move it a bit away from the blackness, like that. But it still doesn't look like it's a true light, so we can actually add some effects to it. So we go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and then we can start increasing like 10 or 15. I think around 12. 12 could actually work, something like that. But I still like the edge on the on this half moon here, just being very clean instead of this feathering on the right side. I want it on the left side, but not right side. So how can I do this? I can actually move this image outside the circle by doing like that. I choose my layer color, Control left click it. So now I've selected the circle, but I want to select everything outside the circle, so I choose select, inverse. I go back on my light 1, hit delete, and then I made the edge. So now I'm just gonna move it in a bit, like this, make it fit, so it looks like, oh, sorry. Something like that. I think that looks nice. I'm gonna decrease the opacity to around 90%. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna call it light 2. Transform, Control T, move it around and put it somewhere else on my batch. A bit like that. Decrease the opacity to 60% this time, so it's a bit bigger in the background than it is in the top. Okay. Next thing would actually be kind of cool to create this big lens flare or beam in the top of the batch. So how we can do that is create new layer. We name it B, and we go to our Marquee tool, choose elliptical, and we don't cover that much up. Besides, like a tiny part of the top, probably a bit more. Something like this. That looks fine. And we're going to fill it with white, as we did with the half moon, like this. But this time we're actually going to create a layer mask, because we're not going to, you know, destroy this too much. So add layer mask, and we're going to go to our Marquee tool, and this time choose rectangular, like that. We choose gradient tool, and make sure your foreground is black and background is white, and we choose the top left preset, which is basically from black to white, and we make sure that we have highlighted our layer mask. So now it's actually going to change the color which is beneath it, which will be green. So it actually be, instead of black to white, it will be green to white. Okay, so just drag and find something we like. Kind of like not to see the entire shape of the circle, just some of it. Guess like that. That looks fine. So now it looks like there's a huge like light coming from the top of the batch. You always just play around with these ways of creating lights. You know, saying you want a light bulb in the top left. You know, this would probably not fit 100%, but at least you kind of get the idea of how to create lights now. Next thing is we want to import a logo. So we open and we go into our folder where we have all our pictures that we want to work with. Now I have this monkey here, Control C and Control V, and we scale it down with the transform, something like this. That looks okay. And if I choose the layer setting for multiply, you can kind of see that the top of the monkey face is getting slightly brown, while the rest of it is this kind of greenish dark. So perhaps multiply is not so good for this one. Perhaps you should just keep it normal, but try and decrease the opacity of it. That way it doesn't really change any color, and it will just stay true to the rest of the layers. You can put it pretty much where you want, like that. Now you can go to a website called The Font, and you can write in some text that you would want to work with. Go into your Photoshop, create new, and just get the text that you would like. So I've wrote monkey in this one. I'm gonna mark it, go back to my document, I'm gonna delete all the white areas on this layer, like that, and I'm gonna move it down underneath the monkey. I'm probably gonna decrease the opacity for this one as well, because you can see the text is so much more contrast to the rest of the image. So if we just hit 600 actually, that was too much, something like that. I think that is actually a really nice batch, and you can do so much more to it, but at least this is the idea of giving it a 3D effect and at the same time adding light to it. I hope this tutorial helped you guys, so take care, see you around.